Welcome back. Excuse me, we were hearing about the dire state of the airline business earlier in the programme. Now, new figures prove that in a downturn, tourism always has an upside. That, of course, is if you're one of the people travelling and you can take advantage. According to a report by Hotels.com, prices around the world are down 17% compared to a year ago. Now, current prices are at their lowest level in some 5 years, according to this research. This is quite extraordinary. 5-year lows. We're paying what we did now back in 2003. Rates are still going up in some hot spots. For instance, Rio de Janeiro has the sharpest rise in price, up 35%. That might be dollar-related, remember. These numbers have been adjusted for sterling, so this might be because it's a dollar adjustment. Abu Dhabi emerges as the world's most expensive major destination. Sit closely and tightly. A room there costs, on average, $285 a night, most expensive. So should we be surprised by these latest figures? After all, if we're getting some good bargains, that must be to the good. At least that was the view I put to David Roche, the president of Hotel Rooms Bookings on the website Hotels.com.
I think that what's interesting today is that hotel prices will probably flatline from this point going forward, potentially until the second half of 2010. Why do I say that? Now, I can't guess, and I'm not an economist, so I cannot tell you what macroeconomic conditions are going to be next year. But what I can tell you is that the prices are down, according to Hotels.com, at this level, simply because the demand overall has fallen, but there's too much supply. And we see the existence of too much supply for the next 18 months or so, and that's likely to keep prices depressed.
You don't need to be an economist to know that that is a classic. Too much supply, not enough demand, prices fall. But how much of this is recession-related, do you think? Because if it's recession-related, as we start to grow again, prices per night will rise.
Well, it all depends on how much supply has been brought on stream.
So you really think this is a supply issue, not a...
I think it's both. I think the demand issue is definitely related to the recession, but the extra supply is related to the go-go years and the availability of cheap finance, you know, between 2006 and 2008.
So who is actually travelling and who is renting rooms and who is not renting rooms these days?
Okay, well, if you look at the pecking order of who's staying and who's not staying.
Perfect.
Okay, so we start off, the market tier that has been most impacted are the conference business, the incentive travel.
Right.
The next layer up that's also been affected are the corporate travel business, just generate corporate travel. Okay? Getting a little bit more positive, you've got the unmanaged business traveler. Okay, the small SMEs and so forth. But finally and interestingly, the leisure traveler is least affected of all. And in fact, hoteliers today are relying most heavily on the leisure traveler.
So you've got from at the very bottom of the pyramid, which is the MICE, the conferences, right the way up to leisure travellers. Now, is it that leisure travellers are still travelling, or that they're still prepared to pay the money?
Well, it's both. But remember that they're travelling in almost the same numbers, maybe not quite the same numbers that they were travelling in before, but they're heavily incentivized by the falls in price. Remember that the fall in price, what's bad news for the hotelier, is the consumer's windfall. So,
David, tell me, why is it that I never seem to get a bargain, or occasionally I'll get a...
You're obviously not shopping at Hotels.com, Richard.
I asked for that. All right. But you know what I mean? There seems to be a discrepancy, doesn't there? Because when I go and stay in Berlin last week, it still seemed to be horrendously expensive.
Well, look, you know, pricing falls on average is not the same thing as prices falls everywhere all the time.
Basically, that's it. What do you expect for the rest of the year? What's the averages that you are expecting to see? And which markets do you expect?
I'm expecting to see that, let's say, across Europe, I'm expecting to see that the price is broadly going to go sideways, leaving aside seasonality issues, about sideways.
Right. So if you wanted a good room at Christmas, it'll cost, before Christmas, more than that. OK, here's the traffic lights. You've got a red, amber or green in terms of the hotel industry and the prices people are paying at the moment. What do you think, what would it be for you? We started, of course, in the depths of recession with a red. Where would you put it now?
I'd say if you're a hotelier, you're amber. And I'd say if you're a consumer, you're most definitely green.
Hotels.com. Now we've put in perspective all aspects of the industry, the aviation, the hotels. Ben Bernanke says recession